Okay, let me just go ahead and start. Is it very bright for you? Through politics, arts, social activism in this amazing book. I thought that it was a really wonderful reflection on life that's shaped by relationships, purpose, and as we'll see, overarchingly by destiny, by the hand of destiny. So I want to ask you, Lav, what was the moment, or perhaps the emotion that made you feel like this is the right moment to write this book?
I think it all started after my wife's death in 2006.
Yeah.
It was very traumatic the way it happened. And that's the first time that I just struck me that I have to do two things. One was to write a book, and then other was to start a foundation in her name to work for the underprivileged and the poor people. And both these ideas came to me together. And thankfully, both fructified. I formed the foundation the same very year in the month of November in Delhi. And the CM of Delhi, Sheila Dikshit ji, launched it. Book, of course, I started writing in 2015-16, and by mistake, I deleted most of what I had written, which was about close to 12 to 13,000 words. I was typing on my iPad, and by mistake it got deleted. And I was so frustrated for a few years, I said, leave it aside, let me think about it again, and then. It was during COVID that I again picked it up. But the idea struck me after that I had to write. First, initially the idea was to write on what happened with her.
Right.
Her shooting and what transpired after that politically in UP. Because there was major upheaval. In fact, her death was responsible for bringing the Mulayam Singh Yadav government down. Yeah. That is what the media also said. And
just to give people a little bit of context for those who haven't read your book, would you like to just talk about the fact that...
See, my wife was shot because she was trying to protect her daughter-in-law from some miscreants who were trying to tease her, verbally assault her in Lucknow. And right opposite the senior superintendent of police office, which was the irony. And she objected to it, and the cost that she had to pay was with her life, because one of them took out a revolver and shot her. She asked the guys to say sorry to the daughter-in-law, which they refused. Yeah. They refused to say sorry, and then she picked up the phone and told my driver, please hold on to this guy, I'm calling the police. And that calling the police, I think, is what made all the difference. And they decided to shoot her before she calls the police. So for them, it seemed like it was a game well played, you know. But here, in fact, it was a major upheaval in my life. And twist to the story that was to follow.
Right.
That's what I thought was my story. Right. But that's not how it works. As they say, man proposes, God disposes. Right. And that changed everything for me. She was shot, then she struggled for her life for 25 days at the Apollo Hospital in Delhi, where the doctors had not given her even 24 hours. She fought for 25 days, like a tigress, I must say. That was amazing what she did. I mean, there was no chance. Her body was completely paralyzed. With an alert mind and paralyzed body, you have no will to live. That's what the doctors say, that even if she survives for 48 hours, she cannot last longer. Yeah. And then to survive 25 days.
Yeah. So you said that you wanted to write this book, or you started thinking about writing a memoir after this extremely traumatic experience. And I was just wondering what the process was then when you actually sat down to write it. Was it very difficult, or was it cathartic?
It was cathartic. Definitely, both the things, the foundation and the book, were very cathartic. And when I started writing, because I had written articles for newspapers, never written a book earlier. For me, it was my first book. And most of it I had lost 12 to 13,000 words that I had written a few years ago. So it was not again very easy to pick it up and start writing all over again. But when I started, I got going, then I didn't look back at all. And it seemed like there was some divine help, you know, that the words would come to me and I would just keep on writing. Of course, the writer's block is always there. Sometimes you pick up a book, sometimes you pick up your mobile phone to type, and you realize you don't know what to write. And incidentally, this book has been written on my mobile cell phone. And it was nearly 110,000 words that I typed on my phone. Because I am not at all tech savvy. I don't know how to operate a laptop or an iPad. I started with the iPad, then eventually phone is my office, so I managed to write this whole book. And now, of course, the edited version is about 67,000 words.
No, it's interesting that you said, you talked about the divine help, because, you know, as I mentioned early on, there's this idea of destiny, of this, the metaphysical. Again, if you read the book, you'll know that both he and his wife had a premonition that something would happen a year before it actually did.
Yes, absolutely. Cut to the chase, she wanted to buy a house in Nainital, and we tried and we could not find a decent property for me to build her a house there. And we were staying at a place called Oak something, and my erstwhile house was just below that. But in between my erstwhile house and this property where we are staying was a patch of land which she was very interested in. So we went and saw that land, and she loved it. And our broker friend told us that there is only one problem, that the Lake Development Authority may not give you any permission because this is in the safe zone of the Ayapata Hill area. Yeah. So she said to me that you know the Chief Minister so well, you can manage, and I'm sure this will all be done. So I said, I assure you by next year I will buy you a property. Yeah, I promised you that. And she said that, you know, I'm not coming back ever. And you were talking about next year. So she knew that, and there's no disease, no cancer, no heart problem, no issue. Yeah. She knew she was going. And I always had this feeling, when I saw that dream a day before she was shot, I dreamt the entire scene, how it unfolded in my dream. And I woke up in a cold sweat. I got up and thought to myself whether I should go and tell her about this, which I didn't. And then a lot of pundits and others told me that we wish you had told her. So ye nahi hota if not happen. I mean that's nothing. That means nothing. So we both knew this is happening, and we couldn't stop it. Also, I knew. Right.
But this sense of the metaphysical, or this hand guiding you, is something that you've experienced
many times.
Many times. You yourself have had a couple of near-death experiences, or just even in your choice. Like you mentioned, this just desire to be an actor when you were in Lucknow, you weren't growing up with actors around you. So there is something you feel that is this other power that's been.
I would have been an actor. I am an actor. I've acted in a few serials. I've acted in 2 movies. The thing is that, and I applied for the Film Institute in Pune, where I was selected, but I could not join for various reasons, which I have mentioned in my book. So that was not to be the way I thought it should happen. It was not meant to be. And eventually I had to get into politics, therefore that film thing did not work out for me. I got into politics, and I have, in the chapter, The Politics of It, explained what all transpired. Why I could not read the potential that I had, because I was not willing to compromise. Had I compromised with a certain political ideology, I would have been the central minister twice over. So I've said all that in the book.
Right.
So it was basically love of film when I was in school, and then as I grew up, from films to politics.
Yeah.
And that change happened so smoothly that I didn't even realize that I've lost interest in movies and I've come into politics, which is new to me.
Yeah. What do you think about, what do you think political life taught you about human nature? What is this thing that you came away with? Because you encountered, I mean, the politics is of course, in India is a different ballgame. And being part of it in the way that you were, you felt, I think, disappointed by the way certain things turned out. But what did you think that whole experience taught you as a person?
I think more than the people disappointing me,
Yeah.
I'm to blame myself because I took certain decisions based on my conscience, which were politically incorrect.
Right.
So how can I blame someone else for what happened with me? I mean, when Vajpayee ji said to me that, why don't you come, how long am I going to fight the Lucknow parliamentary seat? Any other person would have jumped at the idea. But I refused him. Had I joined Vajpayee at that stage, post his death, or even when he was alive, when Rajnath ji succeeded him, our current defense minister, it would have been me as a candidate.
Yes.
So I can't blame
But those are
anyone
the
for
choices you made.
that. That's my choices. Now this is where one wonders, is that supposed to be your destiny? Or is it your free will that you have made a choice and you just follow it up
Yeah.
with your free choices? I've explained my viewpoint on this also. I've explained in a few words what I think faith and belief is and how they differ. So that entire guidance that I have got in my life moving forward is come from somewhere, I feel, from the divine. Because getting into politics and trying to be honest in politics is an oxymoron.
Right.
You know, politics and honesty, they don't go together. And I was thinking and hoping that I'd be the one who will change everything. Probably I could have, if I had changed, switch parties, etc., I could have changed. But that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Because it was not meant to be, I would say. It was not meant to be. Life, as people understand to be that I regret not doing this, or I should have done that. There are no regrets, and there are no coincidences. Things happen for a reason, and maybe what is there with me today, makes me feel much happier than if I become a minister, central minister. So maybe that's what God wanted for me.
But is this something that you've come to now at this age, or is this the kind of philosophy that you had while these things
I
were happening?
had this philosophy, obviously, always. Otherwise, I would have made my compromises.
Right.
Why would I have stuck to anything?
Right.
Why be rigid about it? Make your compromises, move forward.
Right. So I think actually you brought up how the segue from acting, where you still act, but being an active in the industry, to politics. You didn't know when that happened, but you were based in Bombay and you were hanging around with all the big stars, and then you moved back to Lucknow. So how did you deal with that change of scene?
They came to me. The change was very simple. More than me going to them in Bombay, they all have come to Lucknow for some reason or the other. They all would always, most of the time, be with me.
Right.
They would spend time with my wife and me.
Right.
It always happened. It's only in the last few years that I've completely lost interest in that, and I was so focused on writing my book.
Right.
But in fact, recently in the month of late March, Shatrughan Sinha launched my book in Goa. So they're still in touch with me. They're around.
You made good friends with them.
In fact, the interesting bit is, and I'm sure you all have heard of Shatrughan Sinha. He was in Goa and he called me and he said, at around 9:45, he said, I want you to come over to the hotel, let's have dinner together. I said, where are you staying? He said, I'm staying at where Leela used to be, the southernmost point of Goa. I said, no way, I'm 2 hours away from you, I can't come and have dinner with you at this time. So the next evening he came. He said, "Kuki, aap nahi aa sakte, so I've come for you."
Right.
So I took him out for dinner.
Right.
So they're still all with me, they're in touch. That generation. And the new generation, one doesn't know anyone.
Sure. And he's also from
Even in Bangalore, when I was shooting here for Gulmohar West, this was in 92, Vishnu Vardhanji came and met me. He came to the room with my director. That was a great surprise. He's a big, huge star in Karnataka. That was a great pleasure meeting him.
And you also had some kind of interaction with Rajnikant.
Yes, Rajnikant sat with me from 11 in the night to 4:30 in the morning without uttering a single word. So what I found about both these gentlemen was that their gravitas reflected in their silence.
Right.
Apart from obviously the problem with communication and language. I mean, imagine somebody sitting with you 5 hours, not saying a word.
Right.
And it was mostly Javed Akhtar who was talking about him. Javed bhai kept on and on, how he started in
So it was just you and Javed Akhtar sitting there, and then Rajnikant joined you?
Yeah, it was my wife,
Right.
Javed bhai, me, and another friend, Anju Mahindra.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
And he was sitting at a high level, and Javed bhai said, should we ask Rajini to join us? I said, most certainly. So he called him out, and a very, very simple human being, such a huge star, and he came and he sat with us, and he sat till the morning.
4 in the morning, yeah.
For 4:30 in the morning. But that was a very normal affair with Javed Akhtar those days.
Right.
Because those were different times. To enjoy late nights carried on till the wee hours of the morning.
Conversation.
Conversations from here, there, everywhere, from the movies to everything.
Right.
I remember him telling me the song that he had written recently for Amitabh Bachchan film. I can't remember the name of the film right now. Padosan Meri Murgi Ko Rakhna Sambhal. Some weird song that he had written. So I said, Javed bhai, what is this song that you're writing? He said, Saab karna padta hai roti roti ke liye. So the most unlike him, you know.
Right.
The kind of depth he has in his poetry.
Right.
It was not what was expected from him.
Yeah.
And but that film became a hit, and this song was a hit also.
So it's a good thing he didn't listen to you.
So
then.
they know the pulse of the people.
Right. So on one end, you've met such talented actors and poets, and on the other hand, you had an interaction with Dawood Ibrahim, which is
Dawood Ibrahim. Oh God. Yes, yes. Well, I was in Dubai. I was in Sharjah for a cricket match.
This was a while back. I mean, this was before the
This
blast,
was
right?
much before the blast. After the blast, he was proclaimed a global terrorist. There was no question of meeting or.
Right.
At that point, he was based in Dubai, and he was a great so-called major mafia don,
Right.
which he was. So obviously, when at the stadium, I was walking down the aisle to go to the washroom. Suddenly, I saw Dawood Ibrahim with his cronies confronting me. They stopped me with his Uzi toting gunmen, about 12 to 15 of them. I was stunned when I just stopped my tracks, and there I saw Dawood come up to me.
And you knew who he was, obviously.
Yes, he knew about me.
Yeah.
And of course, I knew him.
Right, from
I mean, how you could not miss him with his dark glasses
Right.
and his cronies all around him. And he walked up to me and very politely he said, Adab, I want to talk to you. I said, please tell me. I mean, I had no option anyway.
Sure.
So he started talking to me and he said, I want to surrender to the Indian government. So I said, but I believe you do come to India. He says, no, not at all. No. If I come to Bombay, I'll be shot in a police encounter. So there is no way that I'm coming back. But India is my country. I want to be back there. And I've said so. I said this whole thing in an interview with Arnab Goswami and Barkadat in 2015 on a panel discussion. And he said, I'll be shocked if I come to India. So I just want you to help me out with Prime Minister Rahul Gandhi. Just let my case be monitored by the PM. And I'm willing for whatever punishment I'm given. They want to hang me, I'm willing. But at least I would have got a fair hearing.
Right.
And India is my country, and let me elaborate this further. What is unbelievable for some, like even that Arnab was not prepared to believe, that his stand was next to Sheikh Abdul Rahman Bukhatir's stand. We were his guests, Bukhatir's guests. And it had a huge 80 by 40 Indian flag in front of the parapet wall. Huge Indian flag in front of Dawood's stand. That was Dawood Ibrahim's stand, this is Bukhatir's stand. He had that flag. So he was absolutely Indian before this blast.
Right.
And he loved India. What his activities are, of course, that's nothing to do with his being Indian. I mean, you have so many other mafia dons also. But what changed everything was that bomb.
Of course.
Anyway, I wanted to speak to Rajiv ji about it. But one of our very close member of parliament friend, I think you'll understand who I'm talking about, who was with me in Sharjah, somebody very related to you closely, stopped me from approaching Rajiv Gandhi. He said it's not right, it wouldn't be right for you to talk about a gangster to Rajiv. Somehow it doesn't seem. And today I regret that one thing. I should have spoken to Rajiv. Bombay Blast would not have happened.
Yeah.
And I've said so in my book.
Right. Yeah.
Unfortunate, that's how it was meant to be.
Yeah. But it's interesting that he chose you to come up to and ask for
Yes,
this.
now that is the tricky bit. Why he chose me? Of course, he had so many people from all around the country.
Yep.
Everybody who was with him was Indian. So he had so many people, his colleagues all around him were Indians. And perhaps there was one or two people from UP, from Uttar Pradesh, where I come from. And they had told him something about me. They had told him something about my connections with Rajiv Gandhi.
Right.
And that's the reason he came to me, is what I think. And I believe it.
Right. Yeah. So going back to the act of writing a memoir, did you know when you were writing it that you would necessarily leave out certain things? I mean, how do you balance honesty and sensitivity? What gets left out?
Sorry. Lot is left out.
Okay.
Of course, lot from my personal life is left out. That was deliberate. I didn't want to include that in it. And apart from that, there are so many incidents that you have not been able to recall at the time you were writing the book. So those are missed out. But I'm satisfied, I'm happy with what is there.
What's been in?
What is there. And it just came to me and I kept writing. Now, I was asked at an earlier session, what is the art of remembering things? How do you remember all this? Now, there are two ways of doing it. Mostly people either write diaries or make notes of whatever happens in their life, or of the past they keep there. What I was doing, I was always talking to my close friends and my family on what has happened in the past. I kept on asking, and it was repeated so many times that it was stuck to my memory. So it was very easy to recall.
Right.
And that's how it has all come out. Now there is also an incident where Imran Khan, who's now jailed in Pakistan, who was the Prime Minister of Pakistan, I used to meet him very often, and I mean he was very good to me, and it is a wonderful relationship. But what happened was that he invited us for dinner, my late wife and me, for dinner in Sharjah, to the Sharjah Hilton. But unfortunately, he didn't invite our two very dear friends who were traveling with us. And so we had to refuse his invite. But the surprising bit is that after which I invited him for my dinner in Lucknow, because he was supposed to come to Lucknow for a Sri Lanka-Pakistan match. He was supposed to be there, invited him, which he readily accepted. And he came for the dinner, only I could not attend. I've said that in the book, that I invited Imran Khan and I was not there for my dinner.
I think your flight got delayed, much like the crisis.
Yes. I missed that flight in Bombay. I couldn't attend that dinner, so my late wife shifted the dinner from the house. She called me, she said, how can I have dinner all the cricketers when you are not here?
Right.
So I said, do something about it, talk to the clerks. So she talked to our very dear friend Udesh and Rita Sharma, and moved the party from here to the hotel terrace. But Imran Khan swore to my wife that I will never speak to Lav ever again in my life. And he has stuck to his word. I saw him again at a wedding function, and he ignored me, he looked the other way. Now poor guy is rotting in jail, very unfortunate.
Yeah. But did you feel like that you needed to show the book to anyone? Did you show it to your children just to make sure that they were fine with what had been said?
No, I'm not sure it to anyone.
And what has the response been? Like, was anyone upset or has everything been fairly smooth?
I think that there isn't anything that is so upsetting in the book.
Okay. And you consciously tried to maintain that?
Yes, except there is one chapter which I didn't want to be called the chapter, versus chapter, I don't know. Oh, our special guest surprises here. Shashi Tharoor ji is here amongst us.
Would you like to come up and say
Yes,
a
of
few
course.
words?
Yes.
Oh, I think Rajesh ought to be here. I can't see him with the lights in my eyes. Rajesh, are you here? Yes. Come. Be my photographer if you don't mind. The whole idea is to... There we are. This is the release.
ಹೌದಾ ಅಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಹೋಗ್ತೀನಿ ಬಿಡು ನಾವು ಫೋನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಕೇಳು
Thank you.
ಹಾಂ
I was surprised. I don't have words. Thank you. It's really a pleasure. What a pleasure to see Dr. Shachi Tharoor with us.
Well, I'm very pleased to be with all of you, and sorry for the rude interruption of a conversation that was in full flow and which will resume in 2 minutes. I just promised Lav that his book deserves a few words, and since we're at the festival at the same time, I thought I would express them. This book is it's a candid, humorous, and at the same time introspective memoir that chronicles his diverse experiences, and they're across several fields. This is someone who had an elite upbringing in Lucknow. Then there's his serenading the international model and Miss India Persis Kambata in Mumbai or Bombay as it was. Then there's having a mid-flight birthday celebration with Sunil Gavaskar, because he's a bit of a cricket fan. All of these things are in the book, so it's full of anecdote stories, very interesting. But in many ways, what struck me about the book is that it focuses on his personal evolution as a human being, rather than the conventional success narrative of all memoirs. I did this, I achieved that, this was my experience. That's actually largely not there. He embraces flaws and failures, because above all, I think what he's striving for as a writer in this book is great authenticity. This is about the truth. This is about honesty to the reader. Relationships are a very large part of the book, but they're very honestly and very emotionally described. None more so than the devastating tragedy of the shooting death of his late wife, which really is moving and effective. And inevitably, given the life he's led, there are some very meaningful spiritual reflections as well on life's deeper truths, on karmic destiny, on the truths of human control, human will, on love and loss, and of course on the actual search that we all conduct for contentment in life. And at the same time, the unpredictability of life can throw us off the path of that search. And so what is striking is that I would say this is a very honest, very compelling account of a life well lived. He writes in the book, his tender and touching memoir, "I cannot lie about anything actually. Call it a virtue, call it a vice." Now the thing is, that's one thing I have in common with Lav. I don't know how to lie, and so I prefer to speak the truth, and it usually gets me into trouble. So he's relatively lucky. He's had much less trouble than I have, I think, in the course of my life. But I think what we as readers would appreciate is that it's an honesty that endears us to the author we're reading in these pages. In all his many incarnations, he's a thespian, he's a politician, he's a cricket groupie, he's a family man, and that's just a few of the social activist, a more serious term that he would rather use. He's all of those things. And the truth is that not once in the narrative, despite setbacks and challenges, is he ever embittered about life, nor does he ever fulminate against the cruelties of fate, despite the horrible blows it has dealt him at different times, including that tragedy that could have devastated a lesser man. But he's a resolute man, a man who, despite all that he's endured, knows how to love. Not just his family, but he obviously loves, and friends. He's a very good and loyal friend, I'm proud to say, but also his country, for which his fever burns brightest, to use his own words, and which he spent long years serving in public life as a devoted congressman, and perhaps, if I may say so, as a less devoted Samajwadi, but he's done all of that. The vignettes from his life that he recounts are not, as he writes with delightful candor, of conquests or resounding victories or the remorse of failures. But still, the title bothered me because it really is an extraordinary life. Not very many of us can point to the kinds of experiences that populate the pages of this book. And so it's called A Life Less Extraordinary, but it is extraordinary. It echoes with wistful strains of love and loss, as I mentioned. but at the same time it resounds with irrepressible laughter and zest for life. And that's something we should also appreciate in the book. Through it, Lav Bhargava powerfully reminds us that success and failure, happiness and sorrow are as omnipresent as they are ephemeral. And frankly, they serve in many ways as sort of leitmotifs on life, but he has found fortitude in the face of adversity. And I think the lesson, if you're looking for a lesson when you read an autobiography, is, I think the most important lesson is, that comes across from his writing and his introspection, is the importance of being true to who you are and finding peace in simply being yourself. So congratulations, Lav, in being yourself.
Thank
and
you so much.
writing this love.
If I may say a few words, Shashi, he said he also cannot speak lies. I've known him for years now. At the cost of whatever that we all see every day, he will speak the truth and he will speak his heart out. And there's another thing, that there's another commonality between him and me, is that I couldn't join the BJP despite Vajpayee telling me. And I think perhaps you might find it difficult also.
Same thing.
Because I see that in you also. I don't know whether it is wrong for me to be saying this, or wrong politically, is what I mean.
No,
but I
had convictions before I came into politics.
Yes.
And politics has not changed those convictions.
Somebody was asking me at the author's lounge just an hour or two ago, that you think Dr. Shashi Tharoor will be joining me. I said, as far as I know, he's so much like me. We're on the same page in many ways. And except that he got his Thiruvananthapuram ticket and I was denied my Lucknow ticket. So anyway, so I feel so happy that if I couldn't make it, my dear friend Shashi Tharoor ji has made it. That gives me immense pleasure. And there's one more thing that gives me that contentment. I don't care whether I became a parliamentarian or not. I have Dr. Shashi Tharoor there, who has the same views, who can project the same ideas, who is there for the service of this nation and not himself, not any political party also in that sense.
That's true.
This is what I wanted to say. Thank you so much, Shashi.
Thank you, Lav. I mean, I must say that he's spoken far more clearly than perhaps I would have or I could have at this particular time politically, but he's absolutely right. And I do believe that, those of us who had the privilege of representing people who voted for us, we have a duty to them, but through them to the larger cause of the nation. And that's honestly the one thing that has animated me, and it will continue to animate me. I believe political parties are a vehicle to improve the nation. They're a way to make a better India. And wherever they fail to do so, then as Lav has chosen, he has chosen to find his own path towards serving the nation, rather than the path that was dictated to him by party loyalty. I have not had to make that choice yet, but if it comes to that, I think as Nehruji, who is subject to the very first biography I wrote, famously said, "Who lives if India dies? India will always come first," and that's what matters to me. Thank you all very much, and please continue this conversation. Apologies for the intrusion, and I did overhear you starting up. Yes, Deepthi, very nice to meet you. Please, come right back to your seat. And again, let me once again remind you all this book is in the bookstore and is worth a read. Love, all the best. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And he's known you for decades, so it was a
Yes.
great addition. I wonder if I should open this up for questions first, but I just want to ask, there's a line in your book that you didn't find conventional success as a politician, actor, singer, social activist, but got to live all those lives in one life that God gave me, which I thought was really lovely. But I wanted to ask if you had been able to succeed conventionally in any of these, which would you have liked it to be?
I would have liked to succeed in politics the way I wanted, because it was all there for me. It was all based on my decisions on whether to swing this way or that way. It was not dependent on anybody. It was all laid out for me. Obviously, I would have wanted that. But having said that, I still don't have any regret for how
Sure.
things happened. This I'm saying very clearly.
Right.
And I would request all the people sitting here to pick up the book and read. And I can assure you of one thing, if Dr. Tharoor has said what he has said, I think a lot of people have said it's unputdownable. You will pick up the book and read till the end. That I assure you.
Very enjoyable. Yeah. Let's open it up for, yeah, go ahead, please.
Hello sir, good evening. You have mentioned that you started the book after your
Wife's death.
Yes, wife death, the personal loss that you had. Is this your way of coping with the loss that you had in your life, or is there any other way that you cope with the loss?
Yes, to start with, I thought it would be very cathartic. It would be coping with the loss. I've been involved with something, therefore I mentioned at the outset, it was the foundation and the book that were uppermost in my mind. And I got to doing both of them. Yes, this book has made a huge difference to me. The only thing is that initially I had decided to write on the Meher case, on the Meher incident, Meher episode. But gradually as I started writing, I realized that there's so much to my life that I've been writing, and my very dear friends. In fact, there's one gentleman from New York, Nusrat Durrani, who was with MTV. He was the one actually who goaded me into, he said, Lav bhai, with whatever little I know of your life, your book should be there, your life should be there. Why are you just writing one incident? Your whole life should be there. And that got me thinking. And that's when all this started a few years back.
Yeah, the reason why I asked this question is you mentioned you lost the manuscript before and then you restarted the book. So like I just wanted to understand like how the process changed when you have first written it and then you have later started it.
Of course, process did change. You are right in asking that question. When I started writing, I was going with a different kind of flow in my narration. And that narration did change. A lot of it that I had written also is missed out in the current narrative. I'm sure I missed out on that because you cannot recall everything, you cannot remember everything. But I'm contented, I'm happy and satisfied with what has come out. Thank you.
Are there any other, do we have to wrap up? Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry, we're going to have to wrap up, but Lav will be at the bookstore signing copies. Would you like to, okay, just a quick question.
Yes.
Will you be writing any more books? Can we look forward to any more?
Yes, I am actually in the process of thinking of the right subject to write because I have 2 or 3 in my mind. So I want to think of the right one to write now. Because I'm not sure after my second, I would be writing a third. So I want the second one to be up my heart, close to my heart, what I want to write. It perhaps could be on history, metaphysics or politics. I'm not going to be writing a sequel as some friends have requested me to. It's done, it's done. There's no point writing a sequel, let it carry on.
All right, thank you so much, Lav. Thank you all for being here for this great conversation. Thank you.